2023 was a wild year in gaming, filled with some of the best games we've seen in years. On top of that, there was a plethora of leaks which may change gaming as we know it. At the start of the year, we got an unexpected Xbox release. I'm of course talking about Hi-Fi Rush. Notably, it's one of the first Xbox exclusives without an Xbox One release. Even more notable, it received one of the highest user scores on Metacritic this generation, with an 8.9 out of 10. One of the most anticipated releases this year came from Nintendo, with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Following Breath of the Wild, it certainly had big shoes to fill, but the game not only met but exceeded expectations. There has been an ongoing discussion since its launch, since many think it's better than Breath of the Wild. Despite Tears of the Kingdom being a sequel, you can actually play it without playing Breath of the Wild first. Nintendo did this on purpose so that there would be a really low barrier of entry. Super Mario Bros. Wonder had an even smaller barrier of entry. In fact, Mario Wonder is a breath of fresh air in comparison to previous titles. First of all, they dropped the new in the title, which has been present since the first new Super Mario game on the DS. This signifies that Nintendo is starting this series over. This is great, as the new Super Mario franchise has become somewhat stale. Even though Wonder follows a formula, it's an excellent, well-crafted game. A remake of Dead Space was released nearly 15 years after the original. The game received critical acclaim and was added to EA Play, which means I'll definitely be checking it out, even though it released over a year ago. Spider-Man 2 also came out with high anticipation. Insomniac essentially took the best parts of the first game and Miles Morales, which even led to a Game of the Year nomination. Spider-Man 2 obviously didn't win because Baldur's Gate 3 was released, and proceeded to leave every good game that came out this year in the dust. This was made incredibly obvious when the Game Awards discussion started to happen. Most, including myself, thought that the other games definitely deserved the award if it weren't for Baldur's Gate 3. It's hard to put into perspective, but Baldur's Gate 3 was so incredible that it was essentially a no-brainer for Game of the Year. One of the games that many say was robbed from Game of the Year was Alan Wake 2. Yet another game that lived up to its predecessor, and another that didn't release on last-gen consoles. The other game that totally should have won Game of the Year is Resident Evil 4 Remake. Despite being amazing in most regards, people had issues with the remake winning an award as big as Game of the Year. Winners of Game of the Year are usually picked for being revolutionary and breaking new ground. A remake simply doesn't fit that. Arguably the most desired sequel in gaming recently came out, City Skylines 2. Upon release, it was quickly discovered that the game was terribly optimized and had very high system requirements. This resulted in extremely negative reviews, although they have balanced out to be mixed on Steam. In reality, this game is incredible, but it's unplayable without a really nice PC. Starfield is probably the biggest Xbox exclusive in years. This game was a huge source of attention for Xbox, giving it a bump in sales. Most critics were quite favorable towards Starfield, however the user reviews tell a different story. Similarly to City Skylines 2, many users found the game to be poorly optimized and unfinished. Now we can't talk about gaming in 2023 without discussing all of the leaks. After years of calling it Breath of the Wild 2, copies of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom were sold 2 weeks before the expected release date of May 12th. The game was even briefly streamed on Twitch, although the user was banned shortly thereafter. Xbox had one of the biggest leaks in gaming history, revealing a successor to the Series X, a Stadia-like Xbox controller, and a roadmap detailing how all of this would fit into place. Grand Theft Auto 6 announcement was gaining tons of attention after a community post on Rockstar's YouTube channel announcing that the trailer would premiere on December 5th. Of course though, people managed to leak it, which caused Rockstar to post it on December 4th instead. Gaming in 2023 ended with a massive leak involving Insomniac, the developer of the recent Spider-Man games. Insomniac was targeted by a ransomware company, but decided not to pay. As a result of this, an entire roadmap was leaked, detailing many upcoming games expected to release as late as 2030. These games include new Spider-Man games and a new Ratchet & Clank game. PlayStation certainly has some crazy games coming up, but the PS5 Slim isn't something you should buy. Watch this video to find out why.